Are you ready for it?
Hey guys.
Hi,
I'm Hannah.
I'm
And
Brandy.
you're listening to
Not So Serious Podcast. I'm tired.
We're tired.
I'm so freaking tired right now.
We had a mess up in our plans today. So, like the good reporters that we are and the good podcasters that we are, we had the bright idea to watch the Love is Blind reunion and go live on TikTok while watching it. And then we're going to film the episode. So that was the plan for the day. Me and Brandy got ready, went on live. It was a fun time. And if you don't follow us on TikTok, you should. I'll put all that in the description below, but I digress.
I forgot my hairbrush today, so
I'm dead. What if you need a sip of water? That's okay. We had planned to do that, to go live and watch the reunion live and then film the episode. Well, nobody told us that the reunion didn't come on Netflix until 9 o'clock at night.
that's stupid because y'all pre-filmed that. Just
Pre-filmed it. Why?
So
9
now
o'clock
I gotta
is
stay
too late.
up.
9 o'clock is too late for that.
It's my bedtime. I have to work in the morning.
So now it is currently 11:06 at night, and we are coming through. We're fulfilling the promise that we are filming this episode. I can't promise it's going to be a long one because it's going on midnight right now.
Yeah, and I'm tired. And we did our makeup at like 4 o'clock, so now
Right.
it looks bad.
So now we're looking crusty, dusty, musty,
Ugly.
period.
I have this big pimple on my face. It's really bothering me, and every time I look at the screen, it's there.
Don't look at it.
It's so bad. Don't
Don't
look at it. My hair also looks a hot mess, and it looked really good at 4 o'clock today. I'll just let y'all
Yeah,
know.
my hair and makeup looked really good at 4 o'clock today too. Now it's looking a little bushy.
But anyways, this is for the people that have watched Love is Blind. So this is what this episode is about. If
We're
you
gonna get
haven't,
into
there
it.
are plenty more episodes that you can watch with other content on it.
Correct. I do have one thing I want to say before we get into everything. So Mandy got a call today, house update, that they're starting tomorrow. So by the time you guys see this, they're already going to be starting building our house. So that's actually crazy. I am going to post updates on my personal Instagram and TikTok. If you guys want to follow me, if you care, you probably don't. But if you do, that's where it will be. So if you guys want to follow me, follow us. That would be great. I'm going to have everything in the description below. If you're here for the first time, hi. I'm glad you're here. But today we're really going to be focusing on season 6 of Love is Blind. And we haven't spoke on anything yet because we wanted to wait till the season in its entirety came out before we talked about it. And baby, it's time to talk about it. So let's get into it because I got a lot
If
of
anything
thoughts.
came from this season, it was that TikTok sound. You're going to choke.
You're going to
Everyone knows that TikTok sound.
honestly iconic. I mean,
yeah, it is.
I loved it. I've got the list of people's names on my phone because I do be forgetting who is who sometimes.
Honestly, these cringy reality TV shows, like, they're fun to watch, but like, I just like, why are they still doing this?
Yeah,
Like,
for our entertainment.
yeah, but like nothing's coming out of it, honestly.
Well, they
I
did
certainly
say
didn't
in the
wanna do this.
reunion that they had 11 people get married, or 11 couples get married, and 9 are still together. So that means we've
After
already got
6
2
years.
divorces of 6 years. But 9, they're still married, so that's good.
This season's crazy because they filmed it with people in our area.
Yeah.
Like, Hannah was telling me to apply for it last year when they were doing it. I was like, I could not do that.
Yeah, this last season took place in Charlotte, North Carolina, and that is really, really close to where we are, like an hour away from us. So I was like, Brandy, you should totally like be a reality TV star. She was like, no.
I was like, I would make a fool of myself. And what if the thing opened up and he was just ugly? Hannah, and you know, like,
I know you.
you know how I can make my faces too.
Yeah.
And like, I wouldn't be able to fake it. Oh
my God, you're so cute.
my God.
Love you so
What
much.
if he was like really short?
You're like,
He's like really short, and I'm just.
yeah, Brandy wouldn't be able to fake it.
I couldn't. I don't understand. I guess the people that do it, like, they just understand that process and they're just ready for that. I just don't know. If
I feel like you
could.
have to be fully ready.
You have to get married.
Well, some of them aren't, and we're gonna get into that.
I just don't know. Could you ever do that? Like if
No.
you weren't married?
No, that's not for me.
I don't feel like I'm that desperate yet. There may come a point where I am.
Brandy, you missed your chance. They were in Charlotte.
They were in Charlotte. I just don't know. Like, how would you just sit there and talk to somebody and you just lay it all out and you just tell them everything?
I mean, I
It's
feel
just
like
so
that
weird.
wouldn't be the part I would struggle with. I can talk, okay, and I think I would be able to come up with things to talk about to other people. That wouldn't be the problem.
I
The
feel like
problem
he
for
would
me-
say one wrong thing and like I would just
Done.
grab my little book and my
Your little
my blankie and
and
my
your gold cup.
and my cup and I would just walk out.
Yeah.
He would say something stupid. I'm like, yeah,
Mm-mm.
next one.
You're crossed off the
Next
list.
one.
Brandy would have in her book like the list of all of them, and they would just have X's through them. Like,
Yeah.
not this one.
I'd have like a
this one.
checklist that they have to, and like you get certain, you give me the ick so many times. Once you give me the ick for the third time, I'm
Cross
just
you
gonna
out.
walk out.
And this is why Brandy wasn't on Love Is Blind
This
this
is why I
season.
wasn't on Love Is Blind.
So, yeah, it's weird that like they were so close to us, and then Jimmy and Chelsea went on that date to Carowinds, and I was like, we've all been there. Like it was weird.
Yeah, I feel like he really just wanted to go on that date to Carowinds. He was like, oh. And because
he said, "Oh,
he said, I really just want to go to Carowinds, and then I'm done with this.
And then I'm gonna bring over
Thank you
this
for my
girl."
Carowinds ticket.
Thank you, Love Is Blind, for written out the whole amusement park for me, so I could dump her.
We need to go to Carowinds and recreate the moment where he broke up with her and
Oh
said at
my
that
god!
spot.
Yes. Yes. We're going to get into the couples, and we're going to kind of talk about some side people as well who like didn't get married or go through or whatever.
Mhm.
But I guess let's start off with Jeremy and Laura and Sarah Ann.
First of all, I don't know how Jeremy got on this show, but I know that man is not a man.
No.
He's a boy.
A clown.
A clown.
A clown.
A whole clown.
He's so immature.
He's so immature and he's so rude.
Yeah.
And I'm glad at Laura for going off on him.
He's very condescending.
Because I would have done that too. That look in his eyes, like you could just tell
Yeah.
like he would sit there and argue with you about nothing.
Yeah.
Like, and he didn't want to have any kind of serious conversations. And I'm like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. I don't even see how Laura was like, yeah, I want to marry this guy for sure. Because she doesn't seem like a stupid idiot.
No, she doesn't.
Lola's here to join us. Hey, girl. We're just talking about the show. I don't know if you have any thoughts. Okay. Excuse my cat. She is having her moment. Anyway, back to Jeremy. Yeah, I had red flags about him from the pods.
Yeah.
And I was thinking in the pods, like, him and Sarah Ann kind of seem like they're made for each other. Like, they kind of give me the same vibe, like, not in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, they belong together because they're both really toxic
Yeah.
and immature. And, you know,
And
that's
I
the
feel
vibe
like
it was
Laura
giving.
was very serious about
She
the whole
was.
process.
And she was. And I like Laura. And I think that she handled that situation a lot better than I would have.
Mhm.
She told this dude to kick rocks with open-toed shoes, and I felt that. Another iconic line from the season. And I loved, like, especially at that little lake party they had, every time he tried to talk to her, she was just like, fuck off. Like, screw, I don't, just, like, and I loved it. I was here for it. And she was not taking his crap anymore. Like I said, I don't think Laura's stupid. Like, do I think she was stupid for going out of the pods with him? Yeah. But then it's a situation to where, like, we don't know how that feels to be in the pods, talking to people, not ever seeing them. And I'm sure that's a really, like, unique experience that none of us could understand. So
Yeah.
we have to keep that in mind as we're, like,
First of all, I
Speaking
feel like
on
you
it.
know how guys in real life too, like the first like 3 months, they tell you everything you want to hear. And I feel like that's what they do in the pods. They're going to tell you everything you want to hear, and then once you get out,
that's when it
that's
blows
when
up. That's when it
the-
hits the fan.
the real person comes out.
Yeah.
And I could see it come like all the bad qualities coming out because you're spending so much time with this person.
Mhm.
Like once you get out, like it's like 24/7, like spending time getting to know this person.
Mhm.
Stuff's going to come out about them that you're probably
Yeah.
not going to like.
Right.
And that's with every relationship. Like, it's not going to be perfect,
Right.
but it's just how you handle it
Mm-hmm.
is to what kind of person you are.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. So, how do you feel about the DM that Sarah Ann sent him?
I feel like if I was the other girl, let me put myself in her shoes for a second. If I
Right.
was in that and I was the other girl,
Mm-hmm.
would I have messaged him? I don't know. I might would have. That's the one thing I would say.
Yeah.
Is I would be like, hey, I wouldn't be trying to flirt with him. I'd just be like,
Right.
hey, like, how's everything going? Is your situation like, because you got to know that person, like,
Yeah.
you told that person everything,
She said something in the reunion that I kind of understood with her. She said that she kind of didn't get closure and she felt like she needed to get that off her chest. And that part I understood because, again, like, we're not in this situation. She obviously had a lot of emotions. And now, granted, we don't really know what that DM said. We didn't see it. So, like, thank you for your comment. But we didn't see that DM. So it's like, we don't know exactly what was said. But I feel like if it was just a scenario where she genuinely was like, hey, like, I'm saying my piece and I'm done with it, like, I don't really see
Because if
the
that
issue.
was you, like,
Yeah.
you would want that closure.
Right.
You'd like, all right, why didn't this go my way?
Yeah.
Yeah. But is she my favorite person in the world?
No. I honestly didn't hate
She's
her.
with him now, so.
And I didn't dislike her until I started watching her on TikTok and the way that she handled things. I was like, girl, it's not cute. It's not classy. Like, you're not helping your case any. Like, and like Laura said, like, she wasn't even a little bit apologetic for, like, hurting her feelings, really. Like, I feel like the apology that she gave at the lake, the unshown scene that they showed at the reunion was kind of a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it was a situation to where she is a pick-me girl, and she was like, oh, he saw me, and now he picked me and wants to be with me, and she's getting, like, a high off of that. And that, I'm like, okay, y'all belong together, because I think Laura's so above that. And I think that she realized real quick, like I said, she's not a dummy, what was happening, and she was like, I'm not for this. And she did say during the reunion that she was seeing somebody. So, happy for her. I did like Laura on the show. She didn't give me any red flags, bad vibes.
She knew what she wanted,
Yeah.
and that's what she was there for. And
Yeah.
she wasn't there to play about anything.
And she didn't take no shit from anybody. And
She
you got to
didn't.
respect that. You got to respect her standing her ground. And yeah.
Also, he wore a darn Hawaiian shirt to the reunion. Like,
Don't even get me started.
oh, he just gives me the ick so bad.
He gives me the ick so bad.
God. I could not even have a conversation with him.
And they also addressed the rumor about him being engaged before the show, and he denied it. And I just don't know. But given your track record, Jeremy,
Didn't
it's
his mom
not.
say?
It was the girl's mom, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
And just given the track record and the energy that you're given, I'm not seeing you as very trustworthy. Because what kind of engaged man would hang out with his ex from the pods till 5 o'clock in the morning, and then you expect Laura to, like, be like, oh, it's cool. Like, you knew that was wrong. And if you had some kind of feelings towards Sarah Ann, okay, but you needed to relay that. Like, you needed to be like, hey, like, I'm having these feelings. I just want to be upfront with you, da-da-da-da-da. Not, oh, I went and hung out with her till 5 o'clock in the morning, but since I'm telling you and being honest with you, I should be let off the hook.
See,
it's not how it
if
goes.
I was her and I would have seen his location and then, like, seen he was coming home, I would have got up. I would have sat at the kitchen table. I would have sat there with a cup of coffee when he walked in the door. You got something to say?
Yeah. Where have you been?
Where you been?
Yeah.
I would have played. I would have did, like, a whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
But I'm glad that she didn't take no crap. She was like, you know what? This ain't for me. I'm done. You got to respect it. I think him and Sarah Ann are made for each other in the worst toxic way.
I just feel like he knows that he can get away with stuff with her. I feel like he's one of those. Not to I don't know them, but just the vibes that I get off. He feels like he can get away with stuff. Where I feel like Laura would call him out.
He
She
wants to
would
be
let
with
stuff
somebody
slide.
who's going to let him do what he wants to do and him get away with it, like you
Yeah.
said. And Laura was not that girl.
Mm-mm.
And that's why he didn't put the effort in for her, because he was like, oh, she's calling me out on my bullshit. I don't like that.
And then they were saying that him and Sarah Ann are together, but they've broken up a couple times, and like.
And the red flag for me was when Chelsea said, well, every time I've ever saw you, you said that you and her weren't together. So you don't think that it's a pattern? Like, he's doing the same, he's going to do the same thing to you that he did with her.
I
And
want to go meet Chelsea. I'm gonna go downtown one night and see if Chelsea is there.
we're going to get to Chelsea too. Yeah. Anything else on that subject?
That's it. That's all the time I think that he deserves.
That
more than
I
enough.
Absolutely agree. We're going to move on to AD and Clay. I want to say one thing before we get into it.
And
AD,
I feel like I know what you're gonna say.
AD looked incredible at her wedding and
my
at the
God,
reunion.
her
She
dress was
looked
so pretty.
incredible. Body yada yada. It face card. It was given. She is beautiful. Like, that's all I got to say about that subject. But
My heart was breaking for her too.
it was.
Because like, all right, let's go back to the beginning, like in the pods.
Yeah. She had a connection with Matthew as well,
Oh my God.
who I think is a phony.
Where did they find Matthew?
Where did y'all find Matthew? So I know not to ever go there, because they actually showed the receipts of like him telling AD and Amber the exact same things in the pods. And I get that it's an experiment. I get it. But like, you have to be tasteful with things. And the fact that AD's father had passed away, and then you kind of use that same card with another girl, like, to me, that just wasn't. That wasn't okay to me.
Hannah said he looks like Leonard from Big Bang Theory, and that's all I see when I think of him. I just picture Leonard's face.
Leonard Hofstetter, Matthew, we don't know. Yeah, that was my first impression of him, but I don't think Matthew deserves any more talk, so we're gonna move on from him. Clay. It's hard.
I have so many thoughts.
I do too.
Clay.
Because Clay is a fine man.
He was, and when we seen him, I said that's the most attractive guy there. But
he was the
knows it.
most attractive guy on the cast,
and he knew it.
but knew it absolutely. And
he was all about his whole thing about how looks matter. Like,
yeah.
And she was like, "All right, listen."
My thing is, why did you sign up for a show literally titled "Love Is Blind"?
If looks
matter so much to you, like you were lucky that AD was a pretty girl, but like, what if somebody else would have hobbled out of there? I mean, what was you gonna do? Like, hobbled out of there that you weren't attracted to? Like, you got lucky with AD, honestly.
But I like how she put him in his place too.
Yeah, I like AD a lot. I think she's like Laura. She don't take no crap. She's gonna say it like it is. Her little conversation with Sarah Ann where she confronted her, that was everything. I was like, yes. But I think AD handled everything in a classy way. Like, from the pods, Clay gave me red flags when he was wanting to know what she looked like, and he was like, well, looks matter so much to me. And I'm kind of thinking, like, you're on the wrong show. Like,
I feel like she had a lot of, like, when she talked to him, she had a lot of positives, and she was like, this could really work out, but he does have these negative traits, and she was like, well, let's work on that.
yeah.
See, I wouldn't have, after that, I don't know if I would have went back in.
She was trying to play Bob the Builder, can we fix him? And you saw how that went.
But good for her for sticking it out there and trying to work it out with him, because I don't know if I would have.
Yeah, and I truly believed her when she said, like, she saw something in him, because I feel like if she wouldn't have saw something in him, she'd have been like, bye.
Yeah, she would have left.
Yeah, like, I respect her in a way, but at the same time, he's given you so many red flags. Like, she said she likes red flags. She's going to paint her nails red to match. I agree. I feel like, and I feel, again, AD's not stupid. Like, I felt like she kind of knew. And the thing about Clay that killed me, basically said it without saying it. When they were in the kitchen in that one episode, he was like, I'm going to try not to cheat on you. Like, basically, that's what he was saying. Like, well, that means if I'm married, like, I can't cheat on you. Like,
I feel like he's one of those guys that goes around with a bunch of girls and
he
does
is,
whatever.
and it was confirmed on Instagram by his
Yeah.
ex-girlfriend. I don't know if you guys saw that drama, but one of his ex-girlfriends came out and said that he is a dirty, dirty dog, and I believe her. Because he's given that.
Yeah.
Your dad was
And
a dirty
you can't
dog.
use the excuse of, well, my father
Yeah.
was, so I am too.
Mm-hmm.
You get to decide what kind of person you are,
Exactly.
not your parents.
So if both of my parents are crackheads, does that mean I have to grow up doing crack? No.
You can't use the excuse of, well, my dad cheated all the time, so, and then I've been cheating my whole life because my dad did, so.
And that's what I saw growing up.
That's what I saw growing up, so, I did that. Like,
that's really not an excuse to me because, like, you saw how bad your dad hurt your mom, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna do that too. Like, make it make sense, because it don't. And Clay, AD is too good for him, first of all, in my opinion. I think she deserves a much better man than him. Looks ain't always everything. There's plenty of other fine men out there. Find one, because he's not the only one. And she's a beautiful girl. I'm sure she could get who she wants.
yeah.
And if she went on 2 dates with Leonard Hofstetter after the fact, then obviously her standards aren't that high.
No. She's just looking for somebody to love her, and aren't we all?
Aren't we all?
Aren't we
yeah.
all?
But, I mean, you can't put your standards so low that you're just going to
So-
have to grasp at straws. Like,
Their wedding day, what were you thinking was going to happen?
I knew he was going to say no. Me and Dee were actually watching it, and I said, he's like, what do you think's going to happen? Because he hasn't really, like, watched the season. He was just kind of watching it when I watch it, when he was home, and I was like, she's going to say yes, but he's going to say no. Like, I saw right through it. I knew exactly what was going to happen, and when he got to that venue that day, he knew he was not going to marry her. It was all over his face when he was talking to his friends, when he was talking to his dad, when he was talking to his mom. He never was given the energy like, I'm about to be married today. Like, it was, his body language is telling everything. His words that he wasn't saying, it was telling, like, I'm not getting married today. And that little speech that his dad gave him about running track and whatever the hell he was talking about, they should have cut that off, because that was 10 minutes of my life I'll never get back, listening to this bald-headed, crusty, dusty man talk about how he used to run track. What does that have to do with this wedding? That should not have made the
He was
cut.
trying to get his 10 seconds of fame, okay?
Backfired. Because he's getting roasted on the internet right now. People saying that he looked like a peanut and everything, and I've seen a lot. Milk Dud, I've seen it all. So Dee had told me that he saw this online, and I agree. Like, I believe that this was the case, that Clay had told AD before they went to the altar that he was not going to marry her, but production obviously still made them, like, go and do it. And I believe that could happen. I believe that production would be like, well, you still have to do it anyway. Like, you've come this far. Like, there's only 2 couples left. Like, y'all got to do something. But the reaction that AD was given, I felt like in that moment, like, she was genuinely heartbroken.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think her acting would be that good if she really thought he was going to say no.
Yeah.
And she looked so beautiful. Like, how did you look at her and be like, nah? Like, she looked gorgeous.
He was like, I still want to be with you, but I'm not ready to marry you. That just seems like I'm scared of commitment. I don't want to tie myself down.
I want to have
still
my
wanna
cake
go
and
out
eat it
do what I
too.
wanna do.
Exactly. And
So,
then you say at the wedding, I'm not ready for marriage. Like, I'm rocking with you, but I'm not ready for marriage. And I'm like, then why did you go on a show where the goal is to get married?
Yeah.
You went on a show called Love is Blind, where you fall in love sight unseen, where you eventually get married, and then you go on there saying, I need to know what you look like, and I'm not ready to get married. Well, what are you doing? I mean, is this an Airbnb promotion, like his jet ski rental promotion? Like, I believe it. And I want to like Clay. I do. Like, I don't completely hate Clay. And at the reunion, I feel like he said a lot of things that were good. And I feel like he gave a sincere apology. I felt like that he really did feel bad for hurting her feelings. he said that he wanted to date her again, and she was like,
Good for her.
good for her, honestly, because you know how hard it can be when you know somebody's toxic. I'm talking about myself. You know how hard it is when you know somebody's toxic, but you love them and you're attracted to them, and you're like, well, maybe I should just try it. Like, I've been there. And that takes a lot of self-control to be like, no.
Yeah.
So, like, good for her. I just think she deserves somebody who wants all of her. And I think that she's, from what I've seen on TV, obviously, like, we don't know these people, but I think she's a good
if you'd like to come on
person.
the podcast, or if you'd like to talk to us, we live right near you. So.
Where honestly, it's only like an hour drive.
We'll come to you.
Well, yeah. Honestly,
We
yeah.
will come to you.
As long as you have
and
a
we will
couch
get the
to sit
tea.
on.
As long as you have a couch to sit on, we will sit and we will go over this and we will get your truth out, girl.
Yes, that goes for the whole cast,
For all the girls.
except for Jeremy
And Leonard.
and Leonard. But yeah, I really felt bad for AD on the wedding day. I kind of broke for her. I knew what was coming, but I still felt bad. I felt bad for her, and a part of me was like, well, maybe he will, but I don't know.
You can't fix men like that. He's one of those
No.
men. He's just not going to grow up.
Yeah. And he still wants to be a dog. He still wants to do what he wants to do. And at the reunion,
Same
he's
with
like,
Jeremy.
yeah. And he was like, I'm going to therapy, which I think is great. I think
Yeah.
that's wonderful. If you're working on yourself, I will never talk down on somebody
I think
for
therapy
doing that.
is great for anybody.
Honestly, yeah.
Even if you are secure in your life and you are good, like going to therapy
Mm-hmm.
and getting it all out. I'm getting a therapist right now, by the way.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get a therapist for a while because I
Mhm.
need it, but I feel
I hear it's a really
everyone
good
could
thing. I have
benefit from
friends.
therapy.
Yeah, I have friends who actively go to therapy, and they say it really works for them.
So I'm glad he is going to therapy. That's good for him.
And like I said, like, I'll never put him down for that. I hope he genuinely is working on himself. But do I think he needs to try to fix himself with AD in his life? No. Like, if you got to fix yourself, you fix yourself on your own and let her live, and don't drag her into what you got going on. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you need to do that journey on your own and let her live, and don't string her along, because she doesn't deserve that. We're going to move on to Amy and Johnny. They're the only couple who got married this season, and
I love Johnny's personality.
I love Johnny and I love Amy. I think they're perfect for each other.
They are.
I knew when I was watching the wedding episode, I had no doubt. I was like, they're going to get married. Like, their story was so beautiful. We've seen people get married on the show, and
I
you
feel
know,
like they were both there for the right reasons,
yes,
and they were both being themselves.
Yes, like in the pods, they had like a real connection, and you could see that. Like, at no point during the show did I think they were faking. Like, it seemed like it was genuine. And I liked him from the very beginning. I was like, he just seems like he's fun, cool, laid back. Like, she's beautiful. She knew what she wanted when she came in, and she wasn't going to settle for less. And he knew that. And he was like, I'm going to step up for her. And he did. And honestly, good for you, Johnny. I'm a Johnny fan.
I love Johnny.
I do too. Like, I could see why she was attracted to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he might not be the best looking thing walking, but
you got to have a good personality.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm looking for in a relationship.
And I think he has a good soul. I think he's a good person. I think he was so upfront with her the whole time. Anytime, like the little birth control issue, I didn't really understand that. But that was an issue for them for a little bit. And we never saw them knock down, drag out, fight about it. Like, it was very calm. They talked about it. And
like, I understand not wanting to be on birth control because of the way it affects you. Like,
Yeah.
because it affects some people really bad. Like, it affects your hormones.
Yeah.
You know? I get that.
Speaking for me, I've been on a birth control pill for almost 10 years of my life. And I get why people wouldn't want to do it, because some days are better than others, you know, and it's not good for you. It's not natural.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want children right now, so that's why I'm on it. But everybody was saying, like, wear a condom, dude, wear a condom. And, like, I never understood why that was not an option.
I think he was scared. Like, he doesn't want kids right now.
Yeah.
which is understandable.
Yeah.
Like, you want to wait till you're ready.
Right. And I thought that it was sweet that they like wanted to wait till marriage. Like I thought that was cute. And he was so respectful of her decision. Like,
And she said,
king.
and I'm keeping my last name. We're going to hyphenate it. Like, 'cause I
Yeah.
have to keep that. That's like tradition. That's
Yeah.
my family. And he was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. And she was like, but when we have a kid, like they'll take your last name. And he was like so respective of that. Like he was giving all the green flags.
He was.
And
I just feel
think-
like I don't feel like anything could really make him that mad.
no,
Like,
it just seems like he's so laid back.
Mad about anything.
And I
feel like nothing she would do would ever, because she's such a good, I feel like she's a good person. From what
Yeah.
I've seen, like, she seems like so sweet.
yeah, and I feel like they have the same sense of humor. Like she's kind of goofy like him, and
Mhm.
she likes that he's not always so serious. And I think she's beautiful inside and out. And
She looked so pretty at the wedding
oh
day.
my god! And the reunion, she was gorgeous in that.
Oh,
freaking red
her dress, yeah.
It was so cute. I mean, there's not really much to say about them.
Nothing bad.
No, I loved their journey. I loved watching them grow, and I loved their love story.
If there was one thing good to come out of the show,
It was them. Thank God we had something good. Was it a little boring compared to everybody else's drama? Yeah.
Yeah, I love watching
the drama, but in a good way.
I love when they get mad and leave.
Yeah.
I like when
But-
the cameras are following him.
But then it's when you see couples like that, you think like, can you fall in love with somebody without seeing them? Like it makes you think like that could be real for some people.
Mhm.
And I think that's a really neat concept, honestly. Like that they were both so serious about it and they knew what they wanted and they both won in the end.
Mhm.
So congratulations, Johnny and Amy. Y'all did the thing. Next, we're going to talk about Jimmy and Chelsea
Oh,
with a side of
God.
Jess.
Oh, God. With a side.
First of all, I just want to say Jess is so pretty.
Oh, my God.
Like, she's giving everything. She's giving
Yes.
Kardashian. And I think she's so beautiful.
I think Chelsea is so pretty, too.
Chelsea is pretty.
Chelsea is pretty.
You know, I got a little beef with Jimmy and a little beef with Chelsea, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Jess had the iconic line of the season, when you see me, you're going to choke. Take out your EpiPen. You're going to need it.
Choke. I'll use the TikToks.
And I was here for it. And did he choke? I think so.
Yeah, I think he did.
It wasn't on camera, but I do think that he indeed choked.
Let's talk about, like, if you were in there with somebody and they said, listen, I have a 10-year-old.
Okay, well, I'm in that position. So I can speak on this personally. Not to get too much off topic, I won't say much about it, but like me and Dee have known each other since high school. We met in 9th grade. So like I've known Dee for a lot of my life. We haven't always been together, but like we've been friends like for a long time, and like I knew of Dee or whatever. And when me and Dee started to be together, like I was in the mindset very much of like, I don't want children. But when you love somebody, when you genuinely love somebody, that child comes with them.
Oh, of course.
So it's a package deal. Like you can't love somebody without loving their child. And that's coming from me with a person who said they never wanted kids, that changed my whole perspective on that. And I know it wasn't the same situation, like, oh, I just met you,
Yeah, like just met, like I
Yeah.
could see.
But
But
it is a lot to take on. I mean, Noah was 2 when me and Dee got together. So and with a child being so small like that, it's an even bigger deal to me.
mhm.
So it was a lot. It was a lot. But it can be done. And that's coming from me that had like such a closed-minded opinion of it.
Mhm.
I could see why Jimmy was scared, because I get it. I've been there. But I feel like Jess was just kind of in a really bad situation when she was really young. And you can't like judge somebody from their past. I mean,
Mhm.
people, they live and they learn. And
like, of course, she wants to talk about her kid. Like, that's like
of
her
course,
whole world.
her whole entire world. And as she should.
Mhm. And she was
Do-
like, I can't talk to you anymore until I let you know this. Like, this is a
Right.
big part of my life.
Do I think she should have told him sooner? Yes.
I get I want you to know me for me.
I get
though,
it.
first. You know?
I get
I
it.
do get that.
But that might have been something, me personally, that I would have mentioned sooner, so I don't waste my time. Just for the sake of wasting my time, But she did it how she wanted to, and I respect it. I felt like the whole dynamic with Jimmy and Jess changed after he found out that she had a 10-year-old.
I feel like he was over it.
He was
didn't
not
even try anymore.
No, he was like, I got another girl over here who ain't got no kids, so I'm just gonna go with the safe option.
I feel after that conversation is when he went to talk to Chelsea, and she was like, "Yeah, I've been married before. I'm divorced," and he was like, "Well, dang." Yeah, you're gonna have to face struggles in every single relationship.
I mean, these people in their late 20s, early 30s, like, people have lived their life. Like, a lot of people have been married before. They do have kids with people who they're not with anymore. And I mean, you can't just expect, like, people to have no baggage. Like, it's gonna happen. And I think he was like, been married before, has a kid. He was like juggling which option's better. But yeah, his dynamic completely changed with her after he found that out. And him reading that letter that she wrote to her future husband, like, if you already knew that you were not going to pick her, he shouldn't have done that. I don't like that. That was icky. And then after he read it, he was just so dead silent and didn't say anything. And I'm like, imagine how that made her feel, because that was something so sentimental to her. And I felt really bad for her in that moment, because we're watching. So we know that he's having this thing going on with Chelsea.
Silent,
and he was so silent. And she don't know what's going on. So I felt really bad for her in that moment. I did. And she deserves better than that big toe. I'm just saying.
She went in there just like most of the women, not all. Most of them, they're ready.
Yeah.
Except for Sarah Ann.
She just wants to be picked. She just wanted to be picked.
Yeah, but I feel like she was like, went in there like Laura, like all of them, like she was ready.
Yeah.
And
they knew what they signed up for.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel like some of the men really didn't.
No. They were like, oh, I'm going to be on TV. Period. I hate that. That's so icky. But
anyways, let's get into him and Chelsea, which is the topic of discussion.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, do you think she looks like Megan Fox?
No.
I feel like if you look at a picture, like if you look at her eyes, like her nose does look like Megan Fox in the eyes. Like
from here up.
Yeah. I don't think she should have said that, because
you're giving the guy the wrong idea. Like, now he's thinking, oh shit, she looks like Megan Fox, I'm gonna pick her. Like, and he's not picking you for the right reason now.
Yeah.
So that's not something I would have said.
I wouldn't have said anything about looks. That's the whole thing.
No, that's the whole point. And the
don't
thing
give
is,
them any idea.
Now the only way I think maybe you should talk about looks is if it's a race thing. Like, is your family okay with this? Like, how do you feel about this? Like, I feel like that's something you need to know before you get engaged to somebody. Like, now that I could see, like Kenneth and Brittany, which we're going to get into them, how they had that conversation. Or AD and Matthew also had that conversation. I feel like that's important. So I could see them maybe revealing that part. Or like even being like Latina or Hispanic or whatever. Like, not.
Like if your culture is like a part of who you are.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Now that I get. But
I don't think she should have said, yeah, I look just like Megan Fox.
No, because now he's done picked you for the wrong reason. Because you got want to be Megan Fox and you got Kim Kardashian on the other side. So like, she doesn't like Kim Kardashian, but she's giving Kardashian vibes to me. She's pretty.
She's really pretty.
How
old is Jimmy?
I don't know. Don't care. But I felt some type of way about how he went about picking her, first of all. And second of all, I got a little beef with Chelsea because she was so whiny. Like, I couldn't get over how whiny she was. And the whole scenario about her not wanting him to go out with his friends when he invited her to go.
Yeah.
And she said no, and he was only gone for an hour and a half. And then,
like, I get that. It's your friend's birthday.
Yeah.
And he was only gone an hour and a half.
Like, he's like, me and Dee do that. He's like, look, it's so-and-so's birthday. Let's show our face. We don't got to stay and we can leave.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. He wanted to go, show his support, show my face. Hey, I came. I'm going to have a beer with you, but I got to get home to my fiance.
And I feel like she kind of blew it out of proportion.
She was drunk, though, that night.
Yeah. She's like, you went out and got drinking and went out, and I don't go out like that. Well,
but you're home drunk.
You're at home drinking.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I like to drink at home.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel like she should have come on so hard on him when she was invited. Now, if he would have told her, I'm going out and you got to stay here, now that would have been a different story.
But the thing is he said, I talked to you the whole time I was there. Like,
Yeah.
I can get why he was frustrated with her.
Yes, absolutely. Because she really didn't have nothing to be mad about. Now, what she did have a right to be mad about was him having sex with his friend, and he talks to her every day. Now, who wouldn't feel insecure about that?
Yeah.
That was one of the things I agreed with her
that
on.
she's insecure about things. Like, and I get that because I'm insecure too. Like, I get it. And something like that, yeah.
Like, if me and Dee...
I would bring that up into the conversation when I got mad.
Yes, and if me and Dee was engaged to be married, and I knew that he talks to this girl every day... Now, he has girlfriends, but he hasn't slept with them. But, like, let's say he had this girlfriend, and they had, like, slept together in the past, but y'all are calling and FaceTiming and talking every day. Like, that's going to make me uncomfy.
Mm-hmm.
As it would vice versa. So, I did agree with her on that.
I feel like they both had reasons to be mad at each other.
Yes.
And they both took it out in the wrong way every time.
Yeah.
It was never like,
the
sit
communication
down,
was
discuss,
awful.
let's talk about this. It was just, okay, well, you want to get mad? I'm going to get mad too.
And then they wouldn't even, like, talk about their problems. The next day, they'd just be like, are we good? Like, y'all didn't resolve the issue, and y'all didn't communicate. Like, the communication was just awful, period. On both ends. But she was the whole clinginess thing, like, oh, you haven't kissed me today, and da-da-da-da. Like, listen, there is going to be days where y'all are married. Y'all are both going to be busy all day, and you can be like, you haven't kissed me. Da-da-da-da-da. Like, that's not real life, okay? It's just not. Like, sometimes me and Dee have days where our paths barely cross, and we get in the bed, and I'm like, good night, baby, love you. And, like, I get it. Like, it happens that way, and you can't bombard the man saying, you've only told me you love me 17 times today, and you only kissed me on my forehead one time this morning when I was brushing my teeth. Like, do you understand how that would make him feel?
You know how he came back? He was like, I actually did kiss you today.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. But could you imagine how that makes him feel? Like, he's like, God, like, what does she want me to do? So, like, I get why. I get it.
Had their problems, and they were both trying, but they weren't communicating.
Do I feel like he really cared for her? Yeah.
Yeah.
I do, because if he didn't, he wouldn't have put up with a bunch of that crap.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because men nowadays, you can be like, you've only told me you love me one time, so they'd be like, I'm going to deal with this. So I do think that he cared for her. And maybe even loved her a little bit. I will say that about Jimmy. Do I think he's a little toxic? Yeah. I think that he's got way too many close girlfriends for my liking, and it's uncomfy, and I could see why she felt some type of way about it. But again, we're not in their shoes, so this is all just like outside looking in perspective. But I think it was a very good decision that they did not get married. I was surprised that he didn't even take her to the altar, though. I figured they would at least make it to the altar.
What I said earlier, Jimmy wanted to go to Carowinds. He was like, he was already thinking about ending it, and he was like, all right, we're doing it the date before, the last date before the wedding. Okay, we're going to take y'all to Carowinds.
We're going to rent out the whole Carowinds.
Okay. Jimmy said, okay, let's go to Carowinds.
And then at the end of the day, he's like, listen, I'm not going
in front
up
of
there.
The Fury.
I'm in front of the Fury. I'm not going up there.
Jimmy was like, all right, we'll do it one more day. I'll go get my Carowinds trip, and then...
Well, like, he let her go dress shopping and everything, and the dresses she picked was so pretty.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of did feel bad that she never got to, like, wear her dress. But at the same time, would you rather him tell you before, or would you rather get to the day and you're standing up there in front of all your friends and family, and he's like, nah. Yeah. So, I do think it's good that he at least told her, like, hey, I'm not trying to do this. But you waited a little too late, buddy. Like, I feel like he knew before then.
Yeah, he did.
That he wasn't going to marry her. And he waited too long to tell her.
But with both of them, I feel like both of them have their toxic traits.
Yeah.
And they were
absolutely
shown.
Do I feel like Chelsea would be a great time? Yeah, I do. Like, do I want to go to the bar with her? Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I do.
I'm going to go downtown one night, and I'm going to meet up with Chelsea.
Yeah. Like, could I see myself being friends with Chelsea? Yeah. But, like I said, again, you got to think about how stressful this situation is.
Mm-hmm.
So...
the worst parts of you come out, I feel like.
Absolutely. There's so much pressure put on you.
The worst parts of you are just shown. And I don't know if I could do that mentally.
Yeah, mentally, that would be hard.
Mm-hmm.
But they did not go to the altar, so that was kind of cut and dry with them.
Yeah, we didn't see a wedding.
And at the reunion, they're not together, and it was weird
It seemed like
vibes.
they were civil with each other. Though. They
Yeah.
were talking to each other.
He was kind of like touching her leg and stuff, and I was kind of confused.
He was like, "Are you okay?" Because they asked her like a question, like,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Are you okay? You good?" And she was like, "Yeah."
I just wonder if they're genuinely friends in real life, or if they're friends with benefits in real life, because she made it very clear how much she wanted to have sex with him on the show. I mean, and girl, if you can do that, go off. I wouldn't personally do that, but I just wonder if that's not the case, because they seemed comfy at the reunion with each other. So that's just an assumption of mine that I gathered from their body language. And I'm glad that he didn't pick Jess, because that definitely wouldn't have worked. And I think she would have kind of been like Laura, like put him in his place. And he even said that. He was like, "You're too much for me, as if you're going to call me out and put me in my place. And I like somebody who's more submissive. Then she ain't for you."
Why would you want that?
Because he wants to tell people what to do. He wants to do what he wants and tell people what to do and get away with it, like Jeremy.
I can't even look at. Every time I just think of him, I just picture this look on his face. Like, he would annoy me so much.
That stupid Hawaiian shirt.
Oh my
Grow
God.
up. The last couple we're going to talk about is Brittany and Kenneth. She looked beautiful at the reunion. Yeah, I think she is absolutely stunning.
Like they are both genuinely good people.
They are. I like both of them as individuals. Do I like them together? No. But as individuals, I like them.
I feel like they were both there for the right reason.
They were.
And they communicated.
Yes.
As you've seen, some people did not. They communicated, and they had good communication.
Yeah.
It wasn't screaming and fighting. It was.
And they were both very mature.
This is my problem. This is what the problems that I'm having with us in this relationship. And he was like, "Yeah, I get that. I understand that." Like, he seems like a great guy. And she seems like she's a good girl. Like,
yeah. And I feel like they just weren't right for each other. Like, out of the pods, they knew.
I feel like they both knew.
You could tell they tried. And the chemistry just wasn't there, and you can't force it. And that's okay. Like, everybody was hounding him about being on his phone. And I said, and he said it perfectly at the reunion. You got to understand, this man is a principal. He has a very, like, demanding job to where he has to email, communicate with students, parents, teachers. Like, of course he was on his phone
for a while. Like, yeah, I need to catch up.
He needed to catch up on work. Now, I feel like he could have said, like, "Hey, babe, like, I got a lot of emails I got to read. Like, I'm sorry, we'll talk about this later," whatever. I feel like he kind of could have handled it a little bit better. But, I mean, the guy ain't perfect. We ain't perfect. I think I like Kenneth. I do. And I like Brittany, too. And I think it was heartbreaking for her because she knew he was a good guy. And she cried because she was like, he's a good guy, it's just not there. And that was emotional for her.
And I get that. And you can talk to somebody. And, like, you can, like, text somebody, call somebody on the phone, like, talk to them all you want. But, like, if you're hanging out in person and, like, you know the feeling. If the chemistry isn't there and it's not working, then it's not working and you can't force that. There's nothing you can do.
I've been in that situation before.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And, like, you've talked to somebody,
like, y'all have good energy.
Yeah.
But in person, it's not clicking.
It's just like, listen, the vibes aren't vibing.
Like, I don't see you in, like, a romantic way.
Yeah.
But do I like you? Do I vibe with you? Yeah. So, like, I get it. I do. And I think that they're both going to make somebody really happy one day. It's just not each other. And I loved at the reunion where they were like, "Oh, we FaceTime and we talk all the time. We have a really good friendship." Like, I thought that was great. Like, I'm glad that they got something out of the experience because I think they're both really good people. And I'm glad that they could at least have a genuine friendship, even if they couldn't be together. We didn't talk about Trevor.
Oh, we didn't talk about Trevor.
You know what? I was a Trevor defender at first.
I was too.
And I'm very disappointed.
I wasn't wanting her to pick Trevor.
I was too.
I don't understand why she didn't, honestly.
Honestly, me either. But I'm glad she didn't.
They pulled up the messages and everything.
When I tell you, they roasted the hell out of Trevor. And it was to the point to where he was so, and I kind of felt bad for the guy a little bit. He shouldn't have done it. But,
like, they asked him.
They put him on the spot.
And he was like, I
bad.
had something to say. And he was like silent. Like,
he was
didn't.
silent, dead silent. Like,
Okay, this is what I feel like he was like. He was like, listen, I found this girl and I really, really like her. But he was like, what if there's somebody else out there that's better for me? Let me go on here and try. First of all, if I was that girl, I'd be like, listen, if you think you can do better, okay, we're breaking up.
goodbye.
Goodbye. Okay, go off and see what better you can find because obviously I'm not enough for you.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was his thought process. Like,
It
let
was
me
a
just
red
go
flag.
one more time before I commit to her and see if I can find anyone else.
For one, no. And for two, I'm concerned for the girl that gave him the okay to go on the show. Why would that's weird.
I'd be like, all right,
That-
well, I'll go on the show too.
Yeah. Like,
Let me apply.
I'm more concerned for the girl at this point.
Yeah.
And then you post the screenshots outing him like you wasn't okay with it, but you clearly were. Now, it was messy, Trevor. It was messy, and it was icky. I don't like it. And in the pods, you kind of had me fooled. Like, I was rooting for you. I was hoping that Chelsea would pick you. But it's not given for me. Like, why did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt they put him on the spot so bad that he was just blank.
Which I love when they do that.
I mean, yeah. And honestly, one thing I will say about this reunion, they answered every question that I had. This was not a crappy reunion.
Last year was.
It was. And
It was awful.
this year, they addressed all the controversy on social media.
And they went after people. I feel like last year they didn't go after people.
They were sparing people's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And this year they were not. And they went in on
They
Trevor.
knew what people.
They knew
wanted.
what the people wanted to hear, and they delivered. Good job, Nick and Vanessa Lachey, honestly, for the reunion, because at times I was a little flabbergasted. I was intrigued. Like, they answered every question that we wanted to know. And good for them. We
Mhm.
finally got a good freaking Love is Blind reunion. But boy, Trevor was in the hot seat. Could you imagine? Like, you've got your freaking text messages on freaking national
And they're like,
TV.
okay, can you defend this?
And
I mean, there it is. That's my text message.
Right.
I said that, and there's nothing.
And I was kind of wanting to give Trevor the benefit of the doubt, and I was even telling Dee, like, well, anybody could write Trevor on somebody's messages and say, oh, it was him. Maybe it wasn't even him. Like, I was trying to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. It's icky. It's messy. I don't like it. His dog's name was Chelsea. That was weird. And I was rooting for Trevor, and I was hoping he wasn't like that. And he was. That's why you can't trust men.
I feel like they could have went in on what's his name, Hawaiian shirt guy. What's his name?
Oh, Jeremy?
I feel like they could have went in on him a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of went easy. They went in more on Sarah Ann than they did him.
Yeah,
And he
Like,
was the
he was
problem.
to blame, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel like they did go a little easy on him.
yeah.
But I think at this point, all of
I would have had a few
America,
questions for him.
all of America knows that he's a dirty, dirty dog at this point, and you get what you get. Don't pitch fit.
Yeah.
So I think everybody saw right through him. So that's all that matters. I think that kind of wraps it up, honestly. Obviously we could have went into a lot more detail, but that's just the highlights of this season.
This is the Love is Blind reunion
Reunion.
after show.
Reunion after party.
After party.
Featuring Lola, who's being a sweet little angel back here. But yeah, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Who was your favorite of the season? Who was not your favorite? And what you thought about it in the comments. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. That'd be great. Because we stayed up. It's 12:04.
I'm so tired. I have to work in the morning.
And
I
we
have
did
to,
this for
I have
y'all.
to drive home, take off my makeup, shower. I'll be in bed at like 3 probably.
And we did this for you guys. So you could just show your appreciation by liking this video and subscribing. And if you're listening on Spotify, you could just rate us 5 stars. That would be great. Because we're running off of nothing.
Yeah, but it's okay.
It's fun.
Because
We wanted to do this, and we had talked about doing this for a while. And
Yeah, because we love our trashy reality shows.
we do. And that's a wrap on Love is Blind Season 6. Well, we promised and delivered. So show us some love. Again, follow our socials. I'll put everything in the description below. And thanks so much for listening. If you're listening, check out our YouTube channel. And thank you so much for being here and continuing to watch our videos, listen, and support us. It means the world.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about Love is Fun.
Yeah. And please give us your opinions because we do read all the comments and we love the feedback. So feel free to let us know what you think. And next week, if you want us to touch on something a little extra, we can do that too. Or if there's
Right.
something else you guys want to hear.
This was a little extra episode just
Yeah.
about Love is Blind because we
Yeah.
wanted to, because we can talk. Obviously, we would sit here for an hour
Period.
and we haven't even stopped the video one time.
We haven't even took a break.
We haven't even took a pee break, nothing.
No.
We've just been chilling.
Yeah.
But we'll be back next time with a regular episode. So
Yes.
for those of you, I don't know if you didn't watch Love is Blind and you sat through this whole video,
Then thanks.
thanks. Appreciate
Maybe
it.
you should watch it. Maybe we got them to watch it after this. Maybe they're like, oh dang, I gotta watch that. Probably not. But anyways, we will see you next time for our regularly scheduled programming.
And remember, communication is key.
Communication is key. Don't be a dick. Good night. Bye.
She said, don't be a dick. Good night.